The stars are right, and that means it's time for another episode of The Whisper in Darkness. I'm your host, the Man from Lang. Thank you very much for joining me today. On this episode, we are reviewing the Survivor cards in Too Deep, the first Mythos pack in the Innsmouth Conspiracy cycle. There are spoilers throughout if you care about that sort of thing. If you enjoy what you hear, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Just a quick reminder of how we rate cards here on The Whisper in Darkness. The best of the best get an Elder Sign, while the worst of the worst get a Tentacle, and the cards in between get a +1, 0, or Elder thing, respectively. Before I get started, I'd like to thank the patrons of this channel for their tremendous support. The Arkham Horror LCG community is amazing, and these people have gone above and beyond to bring you content like these player card reviews. If you'd like to support the channel's goals and see your name on this list, head over to patreon.com, sign up for a tier of your choice, and claim your rewards. That would be awesome. Without further ado, let's get started. Only one Survivor card in the pack, and that is Mariner's Compass. It is a 3-cost asset with an intellect skill icon, the item and tool traits. As an action, you can exhaust Mariner's Compass to investigate. If you succeed and have no resources in your resource pool, discover one additional clue at your location. And as a free triggered ability, during an investigation using Mariner's Compass, you may spend a resource. You get +1 intellect for this skill test. Limit 3 times per investigation, and it takes up a hand slot. What do you think about this card, Nate? We've seen this type of templating way back in the Dunwich Legacy with Fire Axe.
We have. This is slightly different though, as using it does cost it to exhaust. So unlike Fire Axe, you can only use this once per turn. That being said, it is very good. Survivors tend to struggle a little bit when it comes to investigating, and Mariner's Compass is there to definitely pick up the slack. This complements very well with things like Madame Lebranche and Dark Horse. It also, it's just generally very good. It's another item that you can bring back with William York or Tetsuo Mori if you're playing Tommy. Yeah, this is a great card. It is a little expensive at 3 resources, but what you get out of it is very good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I think if you've got, like you said, survivors tend to be below average in the intellect department. So if you're playing that style of deck that wants to run low on resources, you could get +3 intellect for the Mariner's Compass, and then if you're playing Dark Horse, you're going to get another. So going +4, if you're already at a 2, you'd be up at 6, which is pretty good. That should do you should be good enough at most average shroud locations. Might not be enough at your above average shroud locations, but survivors also have other ways of gathering clues should they fail. So this is they've got a fail safe in that way, and I mean, discovering an additional clue at your location is very helpful. Not as much in solo, but it does come in usually once or twice per scenario. You do have to grab an additional clue, so it's nice to have this. And somebody like Ashcan Pete could ready it with his free triggered ability, so you could use this between this and Duke. You could do quite a bit of investigating during your turn. The cost is a little bit high at 3 resources, and it does take up a hand slot. So if you're using weapons and whatnot, you're going to need to watch that. But I guess I think this shows sort of the evolution in design more than other cards, because if you created this just like Fire Axe, it would be busted.
Oh, it'd be broken, absolutely, yeah.
So you can see that like Fire Axe was already a pretty good card, perhaps a little bit too good, and so Mariner's Compass, I think you see where they reined it in a little bit and tacked on that exhaust to prevent it from you just gathering 6 clues per turn without really having to do all that much work. Well,
yeah, I mean, the fact that it fuels itself too, you know, it's a way for survivors to spend their excess resources if they're playing the Dark Horse strategy. I mean, this card is just great. What would you give a rating for it, Man from Lang?
That is a good question. I think I'm going to go +1. I'm sort of torn between Elder Sign and +1, but I think it's probably a +1. If it didn't exhaust, this thing would be an Elder Sign slam dunk, but I think the exhaust reins it in enough, and it's not the type of card that you're going to dump in every deck like Look What I Found or something like that. I think you sort of need to you're going to build around this to a certain extent. It's not going to make the cut in every Survivor deck, but it's a great option for Survivors.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like you said, the exhaust definitely helps to contain the power level of this card. But I think a lot of Survivors will want a card like this if they're not playing the Dark Horse strategy. Like you were saying earlier, Ashcan Pete can make pretty good use of it. It's pretty decent in Patrice as well, because you can pitch the violin, or you can pitch cards to the violin for additional resources to get additional benefit out of Mariner's Compass. Yeah, it's just a pretty solid overall card. The fact that it gives you 2 clues is also great for those tough VP locations that usually have 2 clues on them in solo, and in multiplayer it's gonna help you do your 25%.
Yeah, and you combine this with Madame Labranche as well, and you're getting that extra resource every turn to fuel it. So I don't know if you'd play this with a Fire Axe. I think you might have to pick one or the other. I'm not too sure that I mean, Madame Labranche is great and generates a lot of resources over the course of a game, but I don't think she generates enough to fuel 2 of these types of effects. So I think you'd probably want to pick one or the other and go with it. But if you're, say, playing a combat-oriented Silas, well, then you'll choose the Fire Axe. If you're playing, I know I played a Wendy as the investigator, or she was responsible for discovering clues during my multiplayer playthrough during the Dream Eaters. So something like this would be helpful there as well. Well, that's going to do it for the Survivor cards. Pretty straightforward in this pack. They only receive 1, but it's a pretty good one. So Survivors will walk away happy. I'm not too sure what else we can say about Mariner's Compass. I mean, the templating is very similar to that of Fire Axe, and Fire Axe has been amazing since the Dunwich Legacy. This one, they tack on the exhaust clause, so it's not quite as amazing, but discovering additional clues is always helpful, and the fact that you have a way of dumping your resources if you're playing the Dark Horse style of deck to get that +1 intellect for a group of investigators who don't really have a lot of intellect to spare is nice.
No, I would agree with you. The fact that it's also an item is just nice synergy with with cards and other card pools like Tetsuo Mori, or really anything that can interact with assets in the discard pile.
That's going to do it for this episode. If you enjoy what you hear, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you need to contact me, I can be reached at manfromlang@gmail.com. I am also on Twitter at manfromlang. Until the stars are right, keep your shotgun close and your elder sign closer. Take care out there, and happy investigating.